Hiya guys, so today I'm going to do a video about BPD. As you can tell by the title, which stands for Borderline Personality Disorder or Emotional Unstable Personality Disorder. It's very hard for me to talk about. I don't know why, it just makes me anxious as well, because like people don't understand it. But that's why I want to do a video, but at the same time I'm not going to tell you you've got it, or it's a very complex mental illness, so please don't diagnose yourself. You shouldn't do that with any illness anyway, mental or physical. But I'm just going to talk about my own journey with it. Can't think of what word to use then. But yeah, like my own journey through it. And we're just going to be relaxed and chilled, and get a drink and a snack because it might be a long one. I hope this video is somewhat useful to people, whether you've got it, whether you think you've got it, or whether it's family and friends of someone that's got it and you're struggling to understand it. But yeah, I don't claim to be a psychiatrist or anything like that, but they're not always right either, and neither are a GP doctor for physical illness, so a consultant, anyone like that, they're not always 100% right, and they diagnose things, but they're not living with it, if you know what I mean. And you know, they might have got some other mental illness as well, or they might have got none. I mean, everyone's got mental illness to a certain extent, haven't they? But obviously a lot of people haven't got it where it's controlling their life or anything like that. I'm not saying that that means that it's invalid for you. It's not. It's not invalid. But I don't know, I just wanted to talk about it, but I don't really know where to start, so I think I'm just going to talk, and it might not make sense to you still, it might not be same as symptoms or struggles for you with BPD as it is for me, because everyone's different, and like with everything, there's mild, moderate and severe types. I guess mine's kind of like, sorry, I guess mine's kind of like a severe type, really. I have done a mental health story on here and an essay story. If you want to go back and watch them, my first ever video with the mental health story. I can't really remember what I said in it, and there's probably a lot that I missed out. But I thought I'd do one directly just for BPD. But yeah. So first of all, I want to apologise to anyone that has got that or any mental health in general, but especially if you've got like BPD, because it is the hardest and most misunderstood mental illness. I'm going to be truthful about my journey, but so, you know, basically growing up, I'll just give you like a bit of a backstory. So growing up, I lived with my mum at first, but then I moved in with my dad when I was quite young, and I stayed with my dad until something very tragic happened. no one passed away, but it could have, or it nearly happened in different situations. But it's not my story to tell, so I'm not going to go through that. But it, as you can guess, it's to do with my dad, because he'd looked after me all my life, and then, you know, we were parted, which made me mental health worse. But even before that, like growing up, I remember I used to tell my dad, go upstairs or go downstairs, whichever one I wanted to be at. And it was normal to an extent if you weren't gonna like do stuff. And like basically I'd walk around, I'd be talking to people that now I'm okay mind right now. Not brilliant, but okay. I can tell you there wasn't really people there. I would talk to people, I would feel people touch me, I would see things, and it would be very real to me then. And that's another thing that people possibly couldn't understand if you don't hear or see things, or feel them, any type of hallucination or delusion. You really couldn't understand how bad it is. I don't mean you can't sympathise, I'm not saying that, but you can't understand how it feels when you're in that, because it's the most scariest, horriblest feeling. It's like you're not even in your own body, at least for me. It's like you're completely not in control of your body. Even things like just moving your hand up like that, it doesn't feel like you're in control. You probably are, but it doesn't feel like it. And you've it's like, I don't know how to put it, it's like it's I don't know how to put it, to be honest. But it's like you're not in your own body. It's like, do you know, there's been plenty of times that I've been thinking while I'm in them situations that I'm actually being possessed, like something inside me. Hopefully that isn't true. But anyway, so I would like walk around up and down. I'd have the music on and stuff, and that weren't like to try and knock him off, think something, or like my dad, I had music on because I love music, and I'd have it on. But even when that weren't on, there were times where I'd start hearing and seeing things, and I'd walk around talking to him, shouting at him, swearing at him. I remember one day my dad said, "Oh, stop swearing." I was in bedroom. It's not really funny matter, but now it just mental, I think, funny. But for me, it's just, I'm anxious talking about certain things as well. But like, it was like shouted and stop swearing. He didn't have a go at me, he just shouted and stop swearing. And I was literally walking up and down my bedroom, like, man, and sometimes I'd like touch the wall on one side, like I'm touching something, like someone, not something, even though it was only the wall. But to me, in that mindset, it was like I'm touching something, I'm touching this, I'm touching that. And I would see demons and real people, like most of my life, really. Obviously there's a lot more to like a backstory, but that's kind of like contributes to what comes in. So the last year in high school, which is when you're 15, 16 here, it was probably only a few weeks before we was leaving school, but I was essayed by someone, and I think that totally made things worse. I told someone a couple of days after, someone I really trusted, and I've written it down, like a member of staff at school. But I've later found out she told my dad not to, she told my dad not to, not to tell, not to like call police. It's my word against his, and maybe she just didn't believe me eventually. I don't know, but I'm not going to lie about something like that. And if you choose to believe me, that's, if you choose not to, that's fine. If you choose to, that's fine. Whatever. I know what happened. But then, and I went to college. I went to 2 different colleges. So my first college, I was there for a year. The staff was very rude there and horrible, and I got bullied a few times. I was actually bullied most of my school life anyway, primary and secondary school. I was used to it, so obviously it did affect me in a way, but it doesn't affect me till years later. All these things that's happened. So yeah, there was like horrible the staff, and like for no reason they started being I don't know, they were like treating me like a criminal, and I was just a normal 16, 17-year-old girl going into college and then going home at the end of the day. But yeah, they wanted to see my card like so many times. I don't know if they thought they were IBFI or whatever it's called or what, but it's not even funny. Like, they wanted to see me card, and once I actually screamed at him, I was very angry, and at that point I could have literally punched him in the face. And I'm not a violent person, at least up to that point. That's why people used to bully me as well, because, but like, I don't know if it'd be worse if I was a violent person. Then I'm not saying it's something good, but what I'm saying is, you know, you shouldn't really let people bully you at the same time. But I think people thought that was soft, and you know, I have always been a caring and loving person, but to a point that it's just ruined me, to be honest, because to this day it's like I'm complete opposite. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's not funny, I'm just anxious, that's why I'm smiling. But so I went to oh yeah, at the end of that college as well, I wanted to stay there and do childcare, and one of the staff there basically told me I was too thick. So do you know what, I'd had enough for him by then anyway. And you know, you just, if you're going to be abusive, you don't deserve people going in there. I was actually thinking of exposing him at one point, because obviously there were a lot more what they did and what they said and stuff, and treating me like a criminal for no reason. So then I went to a different college, and I was there for 2 years. I got my first proper boyfriend there. I was with him for about 1.5 years, but it was like off and on, you know, still young, 16, 17. I was probably like 17, then he was probably 16. But sorry, that's not even funny. But it didn't work. It didn't work out. And to be honest, I'd had enough. I was at first, obviously, my first boyfriend and stuff, but I'd had enough. And by this point, I'd had enough for everything. Everything that everyone done to me in my life, up to them 17, 18 years. And also, everything that were going on that people didn't do to me, but it was just stuff in my head. I remember as well, I used to think, and not like a normal, like, oh, I need to be careful, something might happen while I go out. I used to think something was going to happen all the time when I went out. I used to have a major fear that I was going to be kidnapped. And every car that went past or like, oh, that happened, I would literally run for no reason really. And then I actually thought someone were following me to school one day, and I literally legged it. And I'm going back a bit, but that just reminded me when I said that. I literally legged it. I can't even remember what year that was in. Probably was in last year or year before. But there was a man, there was a man there, but I don't know if he was following me or not. But then I know a woman across the road from school saw me, and she told me to come across and go in, because she could obviously see that I wasn't just running. I was panicked. I was in a state. I wasn't crying, but I was in a state, if you know what I mean, without crying, because I was just so scared and stuff. And she was nice and stuff, and I talked to her for a bit. Then I went to school, which made me a bit late. I can't remember if they asked why you're out. Also, I forgot to mention, while we're still at school, this is last bit about the school. In the last year, I would literally sit on the corridors on my own, and teachers would see me. They wouldn't ask if I'm alright, they wouldn't ask go. They'd actually name me an attention seeker at one point. I think I had my ideas who caused them to think that. It was no one in my immediate family, but anyways, so going back to college, so yeah, so it was in second year, I ended up splitting up with my boyfriend. There was so much that went off there. That's when I remember having my first ever panic attack one day there. We had to pick like some subjects on certain days, and I picked to do cooking, so I would have been with my friends and stuff. There were a couple of people that I knew out of my normal classes that was in art, but I, as well as I've got mental health, and obviously it wasn't diagnosed as such then, I've got learning difficulties and I've got selective mutism. And if you don't want to know more about selective mutism, I can actually do a video on that, because some people misunderstand that, as well as you just being rude or blunt, and like why you're not answering, and or why you're shaking or nodding your head and not talking. But basically, when they said, oh, there's not enough spaces in cooking, but I know I put down for that, I went outside and I sat down for a few minutes, and then I just started hyperventilating. One of the teachers asked if I were alright. I'd never seen her before. I don't know if she was actually teaching, might work like in the office doing something else. But yeah, I ended up going to work eventually. Fire alarm went off, and that was a fear I'd got, and I don't know why, because I hadn't been in a fire at this point. I think a lot of it was because of crowds when you're going out, but also for some reason the whole fire alarm noise scared me. I don't know why. But then, sorry, I need a drink. It's late here. So basically, I remember that happened for that class, so we went back. I did work crying, and then them people that do know me from class was asking if I were alright and stuff, and I'm like, yeah. And then I think she did show a bit of concern, but then at one point when we was in the art class, she was, I don't know if she, I can't remember if she was asking questions first, so, but basically she made the statement that you're rude, you're late, and I hadn't even said out to be rude because I can't speak to people I don't know, not out of choice. First time I'd seen her in my life that day. But she was like, you're rude, you're late, and obviously we're late because I was meant to be in cooking, then I were so I had having a panic attack. Yeah, she was like, you're rude, you're late. I don't know if you just don't want to talk or something, I don't know. Because I did check or nod my head to something she said as well. I don't know if that happened a bit before or after that, and then probably happened a bit before, and then she made that comment. So I also was seeing like a psychiatrist. She's not a psychiatrist, more like a psychologist, so, but she doesn't deserve that title. She doesn't deserve a job. She doesn't deserve anything. She was, gets me angry talking about her. She just turned on me one day, and then when another time when that was my first OD there at that college. The teacher that I think we like one of the managers something as well, but it was like supply teacher, like teaching us that day because his teacher went there, but he's really nice, and he heard me like screaming when he came outside the classroom because it was like at the other end. To be honest, I don't know if I even know I was in that class because obviously my mental health was so bad, and on top of that I'm not very good at seeing where things are. Sorry, that was like seeing where like things like classes on and stuff and around building. It wasn't like a big college, but obviously it was big enough. But because of my learning difficulties, it makes certain things hard for me, and that's one thing I don't know my directions, really. But basically it came out, and luckily I don't took many by that point before I got seen. Then the security guard came up as well, who I got on with, and went downstairs into a room because that teacher radioed through to or the manager's well, nice one, for a first aider. I guess security are all first aiders as well, so she ended up coming up, and you know, she was nice and stuff. We went in a room. I was on there was this it's first aid, I couldn't think it was them. Another one that came in, this man, he didn't know me, but he had cheek to say when they went on to a medical professional that I think it's for attention, and he doesn't know me. So that made me very, very fuming, and it could have led me to further do something because I'd literally just had enough by this point. My dad came, obviously, because they had to phone my dad and to take me to hospital and stuff, just to be checked out and to check my mental health and stuff. I can't even remember if they said all about my mental health. They was very rude at hospital as well, actually. When my dad come, we had an argument that morning before I went to college, so he thought it was his fault, so he was a bit angry. I think he was more scared because he didn't you know, I've hurt myself like that, and it was the first time I'd done something like that, and think that I was actually manually hurting myself, which my dad probably doesn't know. For a few years before that, I was pulling my hair out, I was scratching my arms. Sometimes I'd use something to hurt my arms. But I know this is a long thing before I get to BPD, but it all really connects into it, if you know what I mean, and could have kind of started BPD. So obviously my dad came round and stuff. We were having an argument in hospital. You know, I told him just to go because sorry, it didn't. He said he can't go. Never cried in a video before. But yeah, because everything I'd gone through, all trauma, it made me sorry. Because of all trauma I went through, it made me very bitter and angry, and the hallucinations start getting worse. Start getting worse. So then that happened shortly after that, with my dad. Maybe I made him pull a bit. I had to go in the ambulance with my dad. I'm just seeing him. With oxygen on. I'm completely out of it. Was so horrible. So he said, I'm sorry. There was rude at hospital at that point as well. At first, one of the nurses were nice and, you know, sort things for me. I had to go and live with my dad's sister and her family for, I think I was there for a couple of months. It originally only was supposed to be a couple of days. I was still only like 19 and I've got learning disabilities, obviously, like I said, and obviously I'd got mental illness that wasn't really diagnosed at that point. I was seeing CAMS when I was younger, but they didn't really do anything, and they didn't diagnose me with anything as far as I know at that point. All I think I was diagnosed with learning disabilities and selective mutism. So I ended up having to move around after I went to my auntie's, which wasn't good because I don't like change. I like moving to different, you know, with I went to live with my close friend for a while. I went to my mum's a couple of times. I went to, I don't know if that were one of the times when I went to my sister's for a bit as well, my older sister, to live with her. But then it led to me going in an hostel, and then I went into another hostel, and obviously I was still really a young girl. It's not really the place to be when you're young. Well, any age, it's not a nice place to live. There's a lot of horrible people there, and it was in one of them, the second one, that I had the first proper hallucination that I'd had. Well, I'm saying proper because it was just like more real, and maybe it's because I was on my own and I was in a bad place more than ever. Like I was finally able to show like my emotions and stuff as such and things, and I took an OD there, which led me to go to A&E, stay in for treatment. I went to from there I got admitted for the first time to a psychiatric ward. I was on like 5 different wards in the space of like around 2.5 years. Maybe a bit longer than 2.5, maybe just a little bit shorter, but it was more or less 2.5 years in hospital. Yeah, it's a long time, but obviously everyone's different, so their story will be different, and what helps them and what doesn't help them will be different. But some of the a couple of the wards, one of them where I went on twice was an intensive ward, and the other one was an intensive ward for mental and learning difficulties, which were probably the most unproductive one there for that one. I was on the 2 times that I went on the intensive ward. I can say that actually made me a bit better than any of the wards. And I'm just going to be honest, the first time that I got put on there was because I was assaulting people on the ward, and I'm not proud of it. I didn't really know what I was doing to a certain degree. I was very, very poorly. It's hard to talk about. But I started assaulting people, the staff and the patients. I know it's not an excuse, but it's probably as well because I finally felt like I could hit back, if you know what I mean. Whether that were emotionally, mentally, physically, and I think it all came out at once. on a couple of wards I ran off and took an overdose OD as well. I'm not going to say what I took because it's not going to be helpful or productive for me or you, especially if you're struggling, and I'm struggling right now. Might have told a bit of a porcupine at the beginning that I'm only somewhat okay. I'm literally falling apart right now. So that's where I was diagnosed on one of them wards with BPD, by the way. So that's why I had to get to that point. And I thought it would be useful, given the backstory and like everything together probably helped create it. I don't think it caused it, because I don't believe, again, I'm not telling you what to believe and not to believe, or what's right or what's wrong, but for me, what's right, my opinion, is any mental illness, you can get it anyway. It doesn't matter if you've had a bad childhood or if you've had a good childhood. You could have had the most fantastic childhood, or you could have had the worst childhood and be fine as well. If you're going to get a mental illness, you're going to get it. I feel like psychiatrists and stuff just tell you it's because of your childhood and trauma and stuff like that. In a way, it is trauma, but that's with every mental illness. Really, most people develop a mental illness from trauma, and doing like drugs and stuff, and usually that's because they're not happy, and so they go into drugs and stuff. Not everybody's a bad person. It's not okay to look like I do, as in see people in black and white, see the world as black and white, anything like that. But I was in hospital for 2.5 years. I was sectioned. I kept getting sectioned. The first ever section, I think, was just for that 28 days, but then I went to 3-month one, and then after you've had 2 3-month ones, I think you have to stay in for 6 months at least. So I guess I let some of my anger and hurt out, not just on other people there, but on me as well. You know, I felt like I was in a safe place, even though I was in a psychiatric hospital. So I think that's why I could, like, do things, if you know what I mean. So I would do things to myself. And again, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do, but basically I say it a lot. I absconded, like I said, a few times. I assaulted people, which I'm not proud of, like I said. Even when people started with me first, I'm still not proud of, like, hurting someone, because that's not really me deep down. And it's probably hard to tell by this video of what I'm talking to you about and telling you. I'm like assaulting people and stuff. You probably think, well, you're obviously the worst person in the world, and you make an excuse for your mental health. You might think I'm an attention seeker as well. But personally, I don't care anymore about that. That's the last thing on my mind, what someone thinks about me, or if I'm telling the truth or something, or if I'm lying. So basically, some of the symptoms I've had with BPD, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety as well, by the way. So officially I've got BPD, depression and anxiety at the minute. And since I've been out of hospital, it's been 8 years in January I have been in supported living, and I have 2 carers 24/7. So like I've got 2 carers now, I'll have 2 carers tomorrow, all day, and then all day, and then all night. 24-hour care around the clock there. Because I'm a huge risk to myself, and again, I'm not proud. I'm probably still a risk to other people. I don't know if I eat out because kind of thing, like, because again, it's not right, but what I'm saying is it's not a good reason. It's not to say, oh, I can do what I want because I've got a mental illness. No one deserves to be kicked, punched, slapped, bit, or whatever for no reason. No. And even if someone hurts you, and if it's a life and death situation, you're better off walking away, and that's my best advice to you. But yeah, some of the symptoms I have gone through is abandonment, which probably has happened in my life, but then, you know, even now, I feel abandonment, like, you know, even like, say tomorrow, if one of the carers can't come in and I really love him, and then someone comes in that I don't like as much, I'll think they've abandoned me, and I'll be upset with them, even if I don't show it sometimes, or sometimes I do. And then or if someone looks at me and I think they give me a dirty look, when they might be just looking because you know, they might be just working me out like I do. I look at people because I try and work people out. That's what I do as well. And I know some people don't like it. Some people take it funny, but some people are a bit childish with it, really, because, you know, you've got to look at people. That's part of life. That's I know there's a difference between looking and staring, but I wouldn't say I stare out a deliberate. But yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. But if someone stares at me and I think they're looking at me funny, it doesn't matter if I know him, it don't matter if I don't, it don't matter if I love him, it don't matter if I hate him. I'm like not happy with them looking at me, because I assume that they ought to get me, and that's another major thing. I feel like people are out to get me all the time, not just like on a regular basis. On a regular basis, I feel like people are out to get me. If I go to a phone someone close to me and they don't answer, they could be busy, they could be doing something, they could be out or whatever, but it don't matter. When they come back online, I'm like, why are you ignoring me? Why are you ignoring me? And it's not a deliberate thing, but again, it does, we've got to appreciate, it does put a lot of stress on your closest people to you, because they want to help you, and they're sad at the same time because you're not well, obviously, and then it just causes a lot of problems sometimes. You know, I can be quite argumentative. Sometimes I generally think they've done something, or they are to get me, or whatever, and sometimes I don't. Usually when I'm nasty to my carers, because I'm having a bad day or something's hurt me, but it's not them that's done it, I will say sorry later on, and it doesn't make it right again, but, you know, they're here to help, they're here to care, so it's not just a job to some people, it's really not. I don't really understand that people can do a job like that and not care and just in it for a bit of money. But sorry, I'm uncomfortable. But yeah, what else do I... So, other symptoms, like I said, a major one is SHing. I'm having longer patterns and not doing it these days, but then I can go through major episodes and start like for a few days hurting myself and stuff. I either sleep a lot or I don't sleep at all, or barely a little. I usually go to sleep early hours in the morning. Well, I mean, now it's probably about 2 in the morning. But yeah, I see things like I was saying earlier for what I see, if you know what I mean. Like, I see things in black and white. You know, you either hate me or you do, or you love me. You either care about me or you don't. You do. I mean, if I'm upset and someone's just playing around saying a box down there is black, I've got some boxes here, the pink, but just an example. Because I'm not happy, they're saying them black, I'm like, they're not, but not like obviously very angry and aggressive. And I can be aggressive, I get angry a lot. I try not to cry, so sometimes I hold it in and then it comes out as anger and an explosion. I still to this day throw my furniture about and myself. I don't think it's an illness that's ever going to go, and I know everyone's different, but really when you've got an illness, mental illness, it doesn't really go away. You can have recovery patterns, even a long-term pattern, and you might think you're alright, but then something can just and I know everyone's different. Again, like I said, there's like mild, moderate, severe in everything as well, so you have to take that into account. But I have major panic attacks, anxiety attacks, both really. I'm trying to think. There's loads of symptoms that I get, but I can't think like straight off my head right now. Of course, like I mentioned with SH, like I do also have adulation for S, you know what I mean, unaliving myself, and I do attempt to this day. It's got a lot less frequent, but you know, I've been really not well the last few weeks. I actually had a miscarriage, which didn't help things. I've always wanted a baby, then I had a miscarriage. It was early on, and there seemed very like not caring or anything, anyone really, the carers. So when I went to hospital, and you know, the weren't listening to me in first place, and then I got pregnant not long after, and I had a daughter, and I have got a beautiful daughter called Tegan. She's 2 currently, but for the last few months I haven't seen her. I haven't video called her because I don't know what to say to not get too much personal information out, but who she's with, I had a falling out with. It wasn't really a good enough reason to stop me from seeing my daughter. I am taking steps forward to doing a number of different things right now to help me and my daughter. I love her more than anything and anyone in this world. I love my baby that I miscarried just as much, even though I was only probably about 4 to 6 weeks. It was still going to be a baby. I know some people don't see it like that. It still was going to, and to me, I believe in God, I believe in heaven. So I think that baby just went back up to heaven, and then they brought my beautiful Tegan down. Her middle name is Hope. I'm not going to say her last names for privacy, but her middle name's Hope because I'd hoped she'd come home. And if you haven't guessed, it's because I've got learning difficulties and mental health, mental illness. Let's just say it for what it is. And maybe I wasn't in 100% state when I had her to have her straight away. But she didn't need, you know, I have carers 24/7, even like contact. I'm supposed to see her once a month, video call her once a week until since July that it stopped. And a lot of things was happening, a lot of problems happened, not just in that regard, but still is important for me and my child. But Tegan is the most beautiful little girl ever. She's got the biggest, brightest blue eyes, and she's just amazing. She's so funny, so happy, so loving. She's always been a good sleeper. You know, I get worried about she's not very good eater. She's underweight still. She's very little, even though she's 2. She'll be 3 next year in May. She was actually meant to be born on the 18th of May, but she came on the 17th, and my birthday was the 14th. So we were only 3 days apart in his birthday. You know, I've never had a party for her, not out of choice. I've never had like to see it on her as that birthday, or is that Christmas, or is that Easter. I'm not bothered about Halloween because I don't celebrate it, and I know some other people don't too. Everyone's got their own reason. Everybody celebrates different things, and that's fine. I just respect people that do. And then I've got, because I've got a couple of other YouTube channels, and the one that I've had the longest at 3 that I'm actively using, because there's some on line that I haven't been on for years, that I don't use. Some of them we at, but I do. The other ones are about true crime, like children and accident deaths and stuff as well, not just like major abuse and stuff or murder. But there's a little girl that I've always done about for long as I can remember, called Tegan Harmony Peters, and that's where I got my little girl's name from. I did love the name. I think I heard it before. I know that like little girl. She was a beautiful 3-year-old little girl. She had big bright blue eyes too, like really, really blue. But yeah, name my daughter after her, as well as I love the name it is, because she's got it as well, and it's special meaning, because yeah, I guess you know why. But obviously I've been battling for not just even the last 2 months, since the day I found out I was pregnant, if I'm gonna have my child, if she's gonna come home, if she's gonna be okay. I constantly worry, I do have some physical effects as well from my mental health, which I get stress headaches and sometimes I vomit. Obviously panic attacks are physical as well as mental. I know some people don't see it like that, and that's kind of misunderstood as well, and people don't really take it seriously or just think you're doing it for attention or you can help it at least or whatever. But yeah, I'm not going to go too much into that because it was about BPD, but I also obviously it's only mental illness, but so it does involve BPD, but I know majority of people don't get this, so I'd like to mention it. But another physical effect I get is I get really bad urine retention. Sometimes I've been catheterized, sometimes for a few months at a time, and that's been going off since for about 10 years. First time was on the world, so like nine and a half maybe, because it was on the last world that I was on, and then yeah, about nine and a half it first happened, and I was really poorly then. I just got really bad, probably one of the worst that I've ever been in my whole life, before that and after that. So yeah, my whole life. So like I basically got really psychotic, and that's another thing. I do get extremely psychotic. Some people don't also realise that with BPD, sometimes it is other mental illness that's linked to it that you get these kind of things, but with BPD as well, you can hallucinate and have delusions, and that's what I do as well a lot, nearly every day. Like I said, I don't just see things, I don't just hear things, I actually feel people touch me, whether I'm seeing people, whether I'm seeing a demon. There's one person that I've like named called Eric that I see regular, and I don't know if it's been forever that, but as long as I can remember that I see him. It doesn't really look like anyone that I know. It's like over 6 foot, very tanned, and like dark on shoulder length hair, or a bit longer than his shoulder. But yeah, I don't really know what else he looks like anyway, but I don't want to go too far into it because it can be triggering, and I really hope that I haven't said much that is triggering as such. I tried not to. I did mention some words that I probably should have put it in a different way, but I didn't mean to. Honestly, I really didn't mean to. I weren't really it just came out, if you know what I mean, because I'm used to saying it, because I do think in a way we should use proper terms for things and things like that. But I do respect that some people find things triggering, and I'd find something triggering that I watch and stuff or see as well. But I mean, my biggest battle right now is not having my daughter, and it has been since I found out I'm pregnant. I don't know. You know, some people say when I'm upset, like my carers and family and stuff, look at pictures of Teague and that cheer up, and sometimes it does. But also that's one of the main reasons right now that I am so poorly, so sometimes it triggers something bad instead. And recently I've been having really bad hallucinations that she's severely unwell in Children's Hospital, and I literally run there and I run into wards, and then I'm pushing nurses and doctors past this police there, and I get into a room and she's laid there. I don't even want to say how she's laid there. It's personal and private, and also again I don't want it to be triggering. But literally, and then things kind of just stop after I say like that. I don't, it's really weird, because there's nothing that follows on after. Not even that I'm walk back out of hospital or run back home or I run somewhere else. I've also been having really bad hallucinations recently where I want to go into the woods, and again for privacy, and mainly because it's going to be triggering to people. I'm not going to say the kind of things that I see there, or what I want to do, or what I feel like doing and stuff. But yeah, I hope this has been productive. I couldn't think of productive video for you, and I hope it did explain some of my BPD, even though I had to do a backstory and I had to talk about a couple of other things in it, but I think it all links and it all in a way, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I know some people again don't understand BPD, but it is very, very serious. It's actually the most serious illness. But one thing I will tell you, I might be violent when I'm not well, but don't take it on everyone that has BPD, because not everyone is violent or crazy, or if they are, they're not necessarily deliberately violent, and sometimes it's because they feel threatened because someone else has done something to them, and it might not result in them full on, you know, whacking them in the face or something because they've called you a name. But and two wrongs don't make a right. But yeah, I hope you got something from this video. I know it's a very long video, to be honest. I wasn't expecting it to be over an hour, and this is not going to be edited because I just want it to be raw and real, and I hope I guess enjoy it right way, but I hope you found it interesting. I hope it was helpful and things like that. And like I said at the beginning, I am really, really sorry if you have to go through BPD, and I'm sorry to anyone that I have hurt physically, mentally, emotionally due to BPD. And I am praying for you all, not just people with mental illness. This is for all of you. I am praying for you all, and I know some people don't believe in God, but I do, so I will pray for it. It's not going to be harmful for you. And I really, really hope you all are okay, or as okay as you can be. I really hope that no one is suffering right now. I'm sorry if you are, especially with it coming up to Christmas. If you or someone else is suffering, or if you've lost someone. It wasn't really my place to say, but I did lose my nephew. He went to heaven a few years ago, so at 5 years old, so that's a big one. Obviously I've lost other people a little bit, you know, it's just a small child, and I research and do videos and stuff like that all the time of young children and older children as well, and adults these days. But I'm passionate about true crime. I am passionate about mental health. So if you want to follow my true crime channels, you can. If you want to follow this channel, that's fine. It's not just mental health videos. If you want to see something nicer, I actually put a Christmas video up before this. Of what I got for Christmas, and then I put another one up a couple of weeks ago as well. So there's two up so far are like present ideas. They're just called different things. One's called What I Got My Family and Friends for Christmas, and one's called What I Got My Kids for Christmas. Even though both of them are like, show like different presents for different people. It's mainly kids' presents on both of them, by the way. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing something nicer and you're into Christmas, then you can watch them. And like I said, I am really, really sorry if you are going through something right now, not just if you've got mental health, if you've lost someone, if you got mental health, if you're just going through mental health, or you've had it for years, or if you've lost a job, if you've lost your children. I don't just mean like if they passed away, like I said, I already said that if you lost someone anyway. But if for people that realise what I meant, it's like if they have gone into care for no good reason. I'm sorry. I'm praying for you all, and I love you all so much. And stay beautiful, stay blessed, stay safe. Bye.